I'm Boy Scott, founder and CEO of Healthy Hip Hop. And so basically with Healthy Hip Hop, we take the urban beat and then marry that with a positive message that focuses around education and health and wellness. And we found success using that with young children to help improve focus, to help improve behavior. And so now we've developed that into a tech company. So we deliver that through an online platform and a mobile application. But my journey started with being a kid that was influenced by rap, didn't have a lot of guidance around me. And I ended up making some poor decisions, decided to really get in the streets and be a rapper versus further in my education. And then on that journey, I had my wake-up call when I was picking up my son, Justice. He was probably about 4 at the time. And I noticed him repeat my music word for word. And so those lyrics promoted drugs, violence, degraded women. And that was like my light bulb moment that I had to do something different, for my son. And I didn't want to be this kind of influence on him or anybody else. And that's when Healthy Hip Hop was born and started the journey.
You're a native of Kansas City, and I know you're carrying KC on your back, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Straight up. So again, we was really about that rap life. Like in KC, we was in the streets doing music, thinking, like most people who were hustling doing the music, like this is a way out. We're gonna make something big. But Kansas City is it's a smaller city, a smaller market. It's not a whole lot of opportunity like you'll see in Atlanta, so it's a little bit of different grind. So started there with the music, and then once I made my transition, that was initially a challenge because a lot of people I was in the streets with, they like, man, you doing kids rap now? So it's kind of like it was questioning, me, what I was doing and my vision. But my vision was clear. I knew I was like, I'm going to build like a new Sesame Street, a new urban Disney. That was always my vision. And so started with that, and once it started growing legs with like live performances, putting out music and finding success with that, people started believing in it. And originally we did about 1,500 live events, so we reached 100,000 plus children, but big picture that wasn't scalable, and I was paying attention to what was going on in the technology space. Because if you look at any industry, whoever is developing the technology, the software, they're winning. So if it's in the auto industry, you're talking about, Turo, you're talking about Uber, you're talking about Lyft. If you're talking about the film industry, you talk about Netflix, Hulu, etc. You can go on and on with that. So I knew we had to have some type of technology play to really scale this. And that's when we started developing the online platform. We had an opportunity to pitch for Shark Tank. And so long story short, pitched for Shark Tank, closed the deal, $500,000 investment, only to have our episode blocked from airing and our deal pulled off the table because ABC was owned by Disney. So ABC is the network that Shark Tank comes on. And they looked at our children's programming as competition. So welcome to Hollywood is what we were told. So they basically, Initially I was depressed, man, so I was hurt because it was like this was our life-changing moment. Because more important than even the investment, it was about the national exposure. Because at that time they were getting about 10 million viewers on the show. So that's 10 million eyes on our business. And so to basically go to this mountain high to this valley low, it sucked, so I was depressed. But I just had so much faith. I'm like, we know we're gonna get there. And like you said, it was really validation. It's like, okay, Disney sees us as a threat. We're on to something. Let's keep moving. We're just gonna have to go in a different direction.
How do you create a positive music foundation in a city like Atlanta? I think it's very much needed. How do you create that?
Absolutely. Well, I think there's so much positivity already here. And if you look at a lot of the artists, they having kids. And so they looking at stuff differently. They're also becoming activists. So a lot of that stuff is happening already. But I'm thinking Healthy Hip Hop is like the movement. It's like the foundation where like this new genre of music for children and families live. So when you hear Healthy Hip Hop, usually when you hear like his music, it's a little bit watered down. Like our music has that same trap beat, it still has that same energy, but all the messaging is clean cut. So I think that's why we've been able to get a lot of love here, because some of those things already exist. As we know, like hip hop actually already has some positive pieces to it. But we know a lot of the messaging. Exactly. That was the foundation. We want to take it back to those roots.
Talk about the technologies that the growth of the business model.
Absolutely. So we first started, it was primarily live events. So we was going into schools, community centers. We were doing stuff for corporations, like for their like community efforts. And we were making money doing that, and that was cool, but we seen there was a bigger picture. So we're trying to generate money like even when we ain't there. And so with the live events, we got to be in person. So with the technology now, we're able to, still have a free version for everybody to have access, but then it's a subscription model. So now if you want full access to all the content, all the additional features, a family might pay $39.99 annually to have it. We working with corporate sponsors, so now they can basically, these corporate sponsorships now go for these schools and these school districts, so they have access to this positive, healthy content that's still culturally relevant to them. So shifting that model, that was kind of the learning curve. Like now we're doing live events, that's cool, that's working, but there's a bigger picture here. Now we can reach more people through the app, through the website, and scale this up. So that's been the real learning curve.
How do you stay motivated, man? You've had some obstacles in life. What's your motivation as an entrepreneur?
For real, man, it's about faith for me. Like I believe in it so much. I just got something within me, just my spirit is strong. I don't talk too much about it in the entrepreneurship space, but it is definitely a spiritual thing, man. For me, it's about God and my faith. And so at the end of the day, I'm living my dream, and I'm just so passionate, and I know the vision he's given me, and I know it's going to come to life. I just got to keep working, and I'm not detoured. If I fail, or if I can take setbacks, I'm staying the course regardless, because I'm just that passionate about it. So for me, at the end of the day, it's faith.
Globally, Healthy Hip Hop has raised the money. Talk about the content and where you want to take this thing globally.
Absolutely.
What are the things you want to add to it and take this thing around the world? How we going to do it? How we going to scale?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, through our app. So our app is like a TikTok style app where kids can create these custom videos.
Oh, wow.
And that was another thing that was inspired through my kids. So my daughter loves TikTok, but I was still concerned about her online safety because she's 11, right? And so a lot of the content was not appropriate, and anybody had access to her. So within our app, kids can create, but we have a safe circle. So it's like a safe circle technology where everybody doesn't have direct access to them. Only their true community of, family members, educators, and peers. So now you can still engage, you can still create, but it's less of a social media where everybody can have direct access to your young child. So through the app is how we scale it, but big picture, we're looking at, doing like Netflix style series, essentially having like our kids' Netflix platform. A lot of that infrastructure is actually built now. And for us now, it's about, getting more exposure, getting more users on the platform, and eventually possibly getting acquired. So next time we see Disney, because at the end of the day, for me, it's also like, I understand it's like, it's business, it's not personal. So next time we see Disney, hopefully it'll be with a check cut. Like, you know what? We want to acquire and hire you, like keep growing this thing. And ironically enough, Walt Disney is actually from Kansas City. And so he had a similar story where he kept getting close, he got rejected, stayed resilient, and built Walt Disney to what it is today. And so I'm trying to repeat that, but in just, like I said, in a more urban fashion and more like the culture where, we built so much in Kansas City. Now I'm bringing it to Atlanta where this can really take flight, because he actually went from KC to LA and, took it all the way to the next level. So we believe we can do the same thing here, but do it for the culture.
So we sitting here, y'all hear this? We sitting here with the hip hop Walt Disney. The hip hop generation of Walt Disney himself. We sitting with him. Hey man,
I appreciate that.
Just continue to do what you're doing, man. Keep your spirit the same level of aspiration, and you're a network pro like myself, and man, I know it's gonna be great things for Healthy Hip Hop. Always told you I was a supporter.
I appreciate that,
much
bro.
love for you.
For sure.
And we here to support you, man. Just keep going, keep your faith, keep your passion in place, man. Thank you for coming to join me, man.
Absolutely.
I support you. Just keep going, bro. I salute you.
Yeah, likewise, brother, for sure.